Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry that I haven't posted in a while, but sometimes life gets to you. Sometimes you have everything planned out that you're going to do for the day, and then your kids just don't let it happen. So anyways, today I will talk about or more about the very first video that I made talking about my son's dad. I will go more in depth about it because I realized that I didn't really talk about it very much. So, first of all, I met him. It was way before I was 14. Can't exactly remember when my parents moved in to the house that they live now, but he was the neighbor at the time next door. And when that happened, of course, yes, I was 14. But things that I didn't know about him, because like I said, it was like a one-time thing. We never got to know each other. It wasn't like a typical relationship where you know most things about that person. But after everything was said and done, I found out that he was married, that he had two kids, and I don't know, whenever you find out, that you're having a baby, and then when there was already kids in that situation, it's just, I don't know, it's very weird. But the thing about him is, well, I found a lot of this afterwards, everything was already done. I wasn't the only person he was doing this to. There were multiple women that he was doing this to. I mean, I'm not sure if they were the same age as me, but definitely a lot of other people. And I remember, when I called them, sorry, the very first time I found out, I was already about 3 months along. At that age, you don't think, oh, I'm pregnant. It's just like, oh, I'm late. I'm not sure why, but I'm late. Very late. But when I called him, and told him when I found out, because my mom was the one that forced me to take a pregnancy test, and that came out positive, she was very angry. She went straight to the police and did a report about it, because I was a minor. He was in his 20s, so they considered it sex with a minor, or rape, whatever you want to call it. It didn't matter if I had consented or not, but because I was underage, they took it that way, because I'm an underage person or child can't consent to something like that. But anyways, he was really, really upset. It was like, well, why didn't you take care of yourself? Or, no, what he said was, okay, I understand. You could have done more to prevent it. Like, I was supposed to know, you're only a 14-year-old's not gonna know about protection or any of this. I would think you, as the adult, you would know. But he was like, I will be there and I will take care of him. We can't be together, but I will do everything in my power to take care of this kid. So I was like, okay, you know what? Even if he's not in my life, is fine if he just gets everything and, takes care of his son financially. But as the time went on, I would say about 4 months, and he went to my parents' house, and he was like, you know what? Because of the due date they gave her, and I'm just doing all the calculation in my head, there's no way that I am the father. And maybe she slept with somebody else. And in my head, listening to this, I just felt sick to my stomach, because I was like, he knows that he was the only person that I had been with. So why can't he stand here and basically say to my face that I am a liar? Which was really, really hard to hear. So in my head, you know, and he would always say, "Oh, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?" And from the moment that this all happened, abortion was never, ever, ever on my mind. Because I can't say it for a lot of people because everybody thinks differently, but in my head, I could never, ever take a baby's life, because it's not their fault that they were made, whatever circumstance it is. So that's the way I put it, and I was like, it doesn't matter what I have to do, I will raise this baby. And I was willing to stay with his dad. It didn't matter if he cheated on me, how many times he did. But just for my son to have his father in his life, I was willing to do anything. Didn't matter what I had to go through. Which, thinking about it now, is very, very stupid of me if I would have done anything like that. Went through hell living with him just for him to have, or try to have, a father figure. But he was born. I think he only met his son like once throughout the whole time, that he was a baby and all that. He only got, they eventually moved, or he moved. His sister till this day still lives there. But he moved, and I don't know where he's at or what's happened to him, or I don't know. Nor do I care. I hope he's living a good life, not caring. Because I don't care. He has family that loves him more than anything. And that's all he needs. But, darn it, I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. But to me, he only met him once throughout the whole time, that this was going on. He only bought him 2 boxes of diapers and a box of wipes. That's it. Which is very, very sad. Because, babies need way more than just 2 boxes. If you can make it their whole, infant stage with just 2 boxes, that would be amazing. But no. So, I eventually gave up school, got a job to be able to raise him and buy him what he needed. And I will be flat out honest with you. I will describe myself, and I will say it flat out. I was the worst mom ever. And that's exactly what I felt. I felt like I didn't have my shit together, and like I couldn't give him everything that he deserved and needed. And that made me feel really, really bad. And I felt like all the pressure and struggles and everything I was going through mentally was put on my parents' shoulders. And there was a lot of times that I thought about just ending my life because I didn't feel good enough for him, and I felt like he deserved more than what I could give him. And, dealing with all this body images, because after I had him, I gained a lot of weight. And it was hard for me to look at myself and see anything but ugliness every time I looked in the mirror. And it was really hard for me to go anywhere. It's like you already don't have your teenage years because you have to sit there and be a mom to this little boy that doesn't know anything, and I had to learn to do a lot of things. And I'm not saying I'm the best mom now, but I am slowly trying to figure it out. The thing that I think hurt me the most, though, happened, I would say, like about 3 to 4 years ago. because of this whole thing, we went through legal things. I did the whole child support. He didn't pay ever. Not one dime was paid off of him, which I was fine. I mean, I was trying to do things, where he could see his son, but I guess he didn't care anyways. But long story short, he had to go to court, and I was there. At this time, I was already with my husband. I was pregnant with our first kid together. And I had to write a letter basically of everything that happened, and all of that. And the judge read it, and but before that, when I was pregnant with my son, he would say, even though thinking now, I was just like, wow, I can't believe somebody would say something like that to a girl, or just, I don't know how people can treat other people like that. He would be like, you're not that good. You're not good enough. You're not the only one I'm doing this to. Nobody's ever going to love you. Look at you now. Now you're pregnant. Nobody's ever going to want to take care of a baby that's not theirs. And that forever hurt me, and I would cry and cry and cry, and I would cut myself, which I'm not very proud of, because that's definitely not the way you should handle things. But I felt like if I could physically have pain somewhere else, my mind, would go somewhere else to that pain, that physical pain, and that inner pain would somehow fade away. I'm happy though that I never looked into like drugs or alcohol to help me cope with everything. But there was times that I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I really didn't know why I was put on this earth to keep suffering. It's just crazy sometimes, the things that you think at that age. And this is where the first video where I talk about how after this happened, how I would look for like a guy's approval, like for them, just somewhere to feel loved, because I hadn't received it, It's just crazy. Anyways, back to the current situation I was talking about. That happened a couple of years ago, but she read it, and in that letter, I basically described everything I did now, and I also said how he would say, that I wasn't good enough and that nobody would ever love me. And she was like, oh, so how many kids do you have? And he was like, please, please, please don't send me to jail. I have 2 kids, and before this whole thing with this whole legal thing, we had to have a DNA test done for my son to confirm that he was really the father. He found out that he really was. Like, I knew this all these years, even though he kept telling me that he wasn't. I'm so sorry. Sometimes, you try to film really quick videos and then your kids just come out of nowhere, start demanding stuff, which happens a lot in this house. When it's not the kids, it's their father. But anyways, he was like, please don't take me to jail. I have 2 kids and I need to support them. And she was like, so you're flat out telling me in my face that you only have 2 kids and you're not even taking whatsoever into consideration the 3rd kid you have. And he stayed really quiet. He didn't say anything, because I think in his head he was like, uh-oh, I really messed up. So he basically she basically told him, you are lucky. Well, you never stood up and became a man for this kid you have, but you're lucky that he was in a family that loved him, and you're lucky that his grandfather basically is his grandfather and his father, and that they love him unconditionally, which he always has been, since the moment he came out. And she basically in front of me sentenced him to 6 years in prison. He did 3, and then I ended up getting a letter in the mail saying that he was deported. I never wanted this. I never wanted for this to go as far as it did. But at the same time, I'm glad, that some justice was made, because I think when that happened, I was like, good, somebody listened to me and knows what we've been through because of this person who never wanted to grow up. And I don't know, it's just crazy. It's still mind-blowing to me that somebody could do something like this. That you could go so low as to make somebody, feel like shit for as many years. And I'm still trying my hardest to get over it and to keep moving forward and enjoy and love my kids now and the life that I have now. But I hope that my story goes out there beyond anything and helps a lot of you people out who really, really need to listen to it. And I wish you guys all the best. I hope that you guys comment on anything. I will try my best to answer you as fast as I can. You can share. I don't care, but thank you for listening. Thank you for at least being there and listening to what I have to say and listening to my story. And thank you so much. Bye.